Yes, once again to the Thunder Record Show with Iverson and Prudence. Yes, we are on the same musical segment, which we need and keeping the good vibes going on and on. Yes, Prudence, as you have wrote a song, the title of the song is called Conscious Talk. You want to tell us a little bit about how you come about, what really inspired you to do write a song?
Yes. So Conscious Talk was one of my first songs it was the third song that I went to the studio to have recorded. When I went there, I was excited with the outcome, and I immediately uploaded a portion of that song to Instagram. Me and Iva had just came from the studio, and I was like so excited. That song is conscious talk. When you sit and you talk to somebody, or you try to get your message out there, get your message heard, and you're talking positive things, you're talking about things that are relevant, and you're talking about things that people talk about, however, they don't necessarily sing about. Right? The message is what they get in. So when you have good music with good lyrics, and the lyrics have a significant meaning, so we want to take it to the world and blow their mind with some conscious talk. So conscious talk, I talked about women raising their little girls to grow up to be respectful young women. It talks about respecting yourself, as a young lady. And then it addresses the male part. Men teach your boys how to rule the world, and how to respect the girls. Because the way that the world goes is eventually what's meant to be is you're meant to have a mark in society. So we can't get there on our own. It takes a village, it takes a nation, to get there. So back in the day, parents, whether it's your parents, somebody else's parents, we were all raising each other's children. And that's what that song addresses. Like, we've gotten away from that. So the young men have to teach their sons how to raise their boys to respect first your mother, because mothers are number one, and then there's fathers. So women are number one, so when you learn how to respect a woman, you'll realize that eventually your purpose when you grow up is to procreate. Is one of the things. We are here to grow the world. So I get together with Iva and we create children. And our children grow up and we just keep recreating ourselves. So if we have a whole village of good people that are creating and teaching their children, and we all learning together, that is very important. So because we're so lost, a lot of us are so lost in the world, we need songs like Conscious Talk. So I could consciously think of, listen, my purpose is to mentor this kid that's not even mine, this child. To mentor, to correct them when they're not behaving correctly, appropriately, to teach them how to speak to people, to teach them how to respect their elders, So these are the things that we want to advocate. So that's where Conscious Talk was something, that was important to me, and Ivan and I both, sing this song. So it's a really good song, and I'm hoping that you guys enjoy it. Yeah.
Yeah, logical songs, It's a good song.
So I'm sorry again. So the song that Iva has, that really, oh my God, every time, no matter where I am, no matter where I am, and I play that song, it's just like the rhythm is good, the engineering is awesome, and of course the lyrics is what stands out. And we hit a little bit on in the first episode, we hit a little bit on crying. But today we want to talk and be free with it. The reality of what's going on in the world, the reality of our politicians, the reality of what we see and what we don't see. Because a lot of times in the media, they display and they show us only what they want us to see. But people like Iva and myself, when Iva took me, when we went on our trip to Jamaica for our music, I went into areas, that were not displayed on the media, in the media. They don't show you certain things. I mean, you can see it on YouTube, but when they're talking about things, they're not talking about the things that are so important. They're not talking about actually helping these people in these situations. There's a lot of violence. There's a lot of death. There's a lot of crying. There's a lot of voices that we don't hear and we don't see. We're sitting over here in the U.S. and we're being very wasteful. We're being very ungrateful. And the same, when I went to Africa, it was the same thing. You do not realize, we over here do not realize how fortunate we are. We still have the political issues. We still have prejudices, and things we have to live with. We just handle things in a certain way. But this song, Crying, is absolutely one of my favorite songs.
Yeah, it was a time when I wrote the song. It was a time when politicians were seeking votes from the people, which they come around and making all kind of promising to the people. And as soon as they get what they want, and 2 months later they turn up, tearing down the people's house, leaving kids nowhere to go. And it's reflected back in my mind. I said, is it these guys comes 2 months ago talking about they are here to give to the ones and the needed and not the greedy. And 2 months later they come back taking away from the wants and the needed, leaving them outside, nowhere to sleep. So during that process, I had my business in the same era where I be a part of it. Like the people start protesting and I start telling the people, so listen, we are the people and we are the one to make our own decision. There is always minority role in majority, and we are the majority. So we are the majority, we should stand up and let the minority listen to us, because without us, there is no business. So we cannot sit down and be a victim to the minority all the time. So, well, then the people start protesting, and we get to a point where they got roadblocks and fire burning and, just to get by the people on the land that the people that they promised that they would give to the people, and just taking off the people off the land. So we go on and on until eventually, after they leave, the people start moving back on the land, because it was a land, so I say it's for the government. So the land now, after people move back on the land, they return back again to the people. So people stand out against it. Eventually, they have to end up and leave the people. So in that process, there's a lot of tear gas. I was there like, I was a leader fighting for the people to get them back for somewhere to live so the kids can have somewhere to sleep tonight. Then, at my house now, after I make my speech and leave, they will have me on camera. They come looking for me. So what I have to do, I have to go home fast and change my clothes and change my identity and come back into the crowd, talking to them. They're asking me, so they're looking for a big, strong man. But they're talking to me at the same time. But I was the one who directing the people. So listen now, gotta stand up for the right, So, people are always being victimized by politicians. Too much promising. And people's life can be better if the leaders do the right thing. Instead of misleading the people in the wrong path, people can have a better life without being a victim of separation. So that's the way this song come about. It's all about the liberty and the frustration of the politicians crying. So during that time, the people see me as their
hero. He was the advocating for the people, leading them, and a lot of times it's always, a lot of people shy away from that because the person that has the voice, and that's what I was saying in the first episode, a lot of people don't have a voice. They don't know how to express themselves. They don't know how to get what they need sometimes. So, especially the young children, so we have to be their advocates. But in each community, we have a lot of strong people. And when I say strong, I mean knowledgeable, where they know exactly what to say and how to strengthen the communities. They know their rights. So in that situation, the politicians took advantage, of this community just to get the votes. And made plenty of promises, and those promises were not being sincere. They were being selfish. They were being selfish. So that song, that Iva wrote, he was the advocate for those people in that community.
Yeah, it's really hard for, people over the years where people have been victims. People could have a better life without being stressed out. If the leaders could come together, and all they need to do is come together and work things out, that people can have a better life. And we will have a better world.
Yeah.
Instead of leading the people in the wrong way, people could have a better life if all politicians could come together. Yeah. And, give the people a better life.
What I personally believe is, I think that the politicians are also chosen because, to me, the way that politics, in my opinion, and the law works. So they choose someone that the community will trust, first of all. But before they even give them the positions as the politician, they have already interviewed them. They have already sat down and discussed, listen, this is what we have to do. But we need you to convince the community. You want the votes, so we're going to give you the spot, because those politicians don't just get in there. They can't. You see how they do the polls now. There's a lot of deception. But anyway, so the politicians become corrupt. Some are corrupt from the beginning, but the others they just smooth, where they can convince people, and they convince them with promises, and then once they get what they want, then of course things didn't work out that way. So they don't give you what they promised to give you. So that song is deep, and when you hear it, which I also wanted to mention that in the beginning of each episode, Crying is the song that's playing. The rhythm is nice and it's captivating. So eventually, it is a good song. You're gonna absolutely love that song too. But that's what makes the world go round. And the other thing, politicians it's just a title. For example, these big corporate businesses, they have the same thing going on. The leaders, the people, the CEOs and stuff, they're the ones that's supposed to be advocating for us. Okay, this is the way that the company is going to work. I need my people to have good insurance, good benefits, good salaries, but everybody has to earn that, and it's everything falls. When things don't go right, it falls. Stuff rolls downhill, but it's coming from the top. And that's what the politicians, Ivor, is expressing, that if they could come together, but they've already come together because they've fallen in a different category. They've come together. That's why they were chosen, but they are just, it's very few politicians to me that are straightforward. Because they eventually get you out of there. If you help too much, they're going to lose. So they get you in there. They let you help for a little while, but then you fall with them. They either get you with finances, like they just bribe people, and politics is something that I really don't like to talk about. But what this song is this expression is expressing from the victim side of it, from the bystander, from the author, from the writer. It's from Ivor's perspective. The song is from Ivor's perspective. So whether my opinion is what it is what it is, So, but the way that he expressed it is a beautiful song. The next song that Ivor wrote is Wake Up and Live. All of them have that. You remember I told you guys that Ivor has this bop about him? That bop, when you hear that song, you're going to have that bop too. Most of Ivor's songs have a nice rhythm to it. It just grabs you in. And Wake Up and Live, I actually, from hearing that song, and I didn't even realize until it was way after the fact, but Wake Up and Live is a part of Conscious Talk, has those very exact words, wake up and live. And I was sitting there thinking that I created that on my own, but words are free for anybody to use. That's why I said, when you guys, in the last episode, I mentioned about the challenge with the song, and I gave you the title, Elephant. The Elephant, or whatever elephant. So that's the same thing. Wake Up and Live, I could sing it in different ways. I could use it in a whole different way from the way I was using it. So it still carries the same message. When you make your poem or your song, whatever you want to do about elephants, it's gonna be the way you deliver it. You know, what you make of the whole elephant, you know, is your creativity. So this song is titled Wake Up and Live, and it is awesome. Let's talk about that.
Yeah, it's just a song that you know, showing you that all the world is going today globally about war and crime, and you know, where we see that it's not necessary for war and crime, you know, and the way the people been treated and how the people always being the victim. Because if you notice, who dies in war? They make the war. Who died in war? It's not the guy who billionaires, a billion sons and daughters. Who dies in war? We the people. Our sons and daughters died in war. You know, so it's a song that really spoke about global life, you know, that need to be changed. So it's time now where people must look out of their eyes and listen and use their brain and see that we the people are the victim. So we need to make a change. We are the one who been the victim that cast away in the cemetery and forgotten. You know, so we don't need any more of that now. We are living in civilized stages now where things must change. So we are civilized people, so we must live civilized and we must get civilized treatment.
So what we consider, we have so much crime in our communities. You know, so global wars are wars. You know, countries and countries fighting is no different. It's just a larger amount of death, a larger amount of people that are lost, a large amount of people that are left without loved ones. So it's the same thing on a smaller scale. We have to teach our children and be an example of that, because we have the same situations in our communities. So when we write songs like this, we're talking about politicians, you know, we're talking about situations, we're talking about people that lead us in the wrong direction. We're talking about the children in the high schools, the elementary schools, the ones that go to school to learn and they come back and they had a fight. You know, so we can catch things from those young, tender ages where we teach our children that is not the only solution. That is not the only answer. Fighting is not the only answer. Because when you fight, somebody is going to win and somebody's going to lose. And sometimes we both lose. Because we both, it's a loss. It's a loss. So there are not going to be always agreeable times, but as artists, what we can do is share those and give a solution at the same time. You know, because we see it in our news every night. I can't even watch the news. I'm a little bit embarrassed to say that, because my brother always emphasized, Prudence, we need to know what's going on in the world. You know, but it's so sad to me, you know, that it is what it is, you know, and it just disturbs me, you know, and the only way that I can advocate is from my community, you know, from my music, you know, so when our music reaches a certain place, hopefully, because when, I don't know if you really understand sometimes, because sometimes I don't understand things, but certain music is meant to reach your subconscious mind. And in your subconscious mind is where everything is born. So you're singing these songs, these violent songs, and you ever notice when you sing a sad love song, it's supposed to be about love, and you singing it, it just makes you so depressed. you know? It makes you so depressed. You have I stopped listening to the songs a long time ago. I was in a relationship, which oh God. When you're in a relationship, you're supposed to love the one that you're with. So I was in my 20s, and I'm only 30 now, but I was in my 20s, and I was in a relationship, and we parted ways. And I went home, and I cried, and I turned on my favorite tape back then, and I was listening to love songs, and I swear, I was so depressed. And then I realized, I was living in the Bronx at that time, Bronx, New York. I realized, I said, oh my God, these songs are so powerful. The things that we listen to, the people that we listen to, the voices, the music, everything has an effect on your psychological mind. So be careful what you're listening to. Sometimes we listen to things we don't even know what they're saying, but they catch us with the rhythms, the beats are really nice. Then we sing in half of a song, just the part that we can actually catch. So be very careful what you're letting into your subconscious mind, because that's who you are. You are your deepest thoughts. You are. So be careful what your children are listening to, and just try to censor what's coming. Even the TV shows now that are on. Be very careful what you're not monitoring, because these children are watching things, even in the simplest cartoons. Who ever thought, what was that, Family Guy? Oh God, that's an adult cartoon. So be careful. Don't let your children watch Family Guy, because it's meant to be for adults, and it's very provocative, vulgar, degrading, and everything else. But people sit there and they laugh at it, because it's that kind of humor, and society, a lot of things are permissible because it draws the most attention and it gets the most audience. Controversy is what sells. Sex is what sells. Violence is what sells. People like to send things viral when it's bad. So it's some good things out there too, and hopefully our stuff will go viral too, because it has a positive message in it, and when people are being positive, when they're showing love, it only reaches a certain audience. But we need to let this type of music and your type of music, if you're advocating positive love and strength and focus and all the positive things, that's what we want to hear. So comment about the things that we're talking about. We really appreciate that. And this song, again, is played with in every beginning of the show. And we talked about selfish people also. That all falls in the same category. So what we're writing about is conscious talk. We want you to take heed and enjoy it at the same time. The Senate stage name is Iva Senate, right? And I like the story behind that too. To me, everything, since I'm at Iva, everything has turned into a song for me. So the Senate, I want you guys to know where that name came from. So tell us about that, Iva. Where did Senate come from?
Well, the Senate is coming a long way, like as a community leader, which always a man who keep things in order, a man who keep the peace, a man who shows a certain amount of respect and love to my people. And it's also, once things is to be in hard and things to get done, I just say, hey, send it to me. And from there, that name becomes a household. Mr. Senate, Iva Senate, so that's a had the Iva to the Senate, so it becomes Iva Senate. So that name got a hold on me since I was back in my community. So I just stick on to that name and add it to my musical name, Ivor Sennett.
That's a good one. I like that. I would have never thought of that. And I say it so much now that it became his last name in my mind. I'm like, Ivor Sennett. Oh my God. So that is Ivor's brand. So Ivor Sennett. So again, those are a couple of our songs that are for this forum today. And if you have any conscious talk like songs, any crying, that's the name of that song that we were just expressing the origin on. If you have any message songs, positive message songs that are pretty controversial, everybody has their opinion about it. We like to hear it, we like to invite you on the show and we talk about your song. We break your song down, because in crying, Ivor talks about chalk lines and just a lot of things, that people, when they get behind certain authority, they don't use it because the majority become corrupt. In that situation, when I went to Africa, what we call like police over here, they have soldiers over there. They're on trucks and they sitting on it with big long machine guns. It was pretty uncomfortable for me. They pulled us over, and it was all a bribery thing. They wanted money. We didn't do anything wrong. We just riding, going to our destination, and it was pretty frightening. And coming from something, so we have it so good over here, and we don't take advantage of it. We complain. We find little things to complain about, and what happens is we get stifled. We get stuck in that. And then everybody, it's a contagious thing. That's why music is so important. When you have good music, music is contagious. It gets you feeling good. Just like, for example, when you go to certain clubs, right? Like they're a little bit more like lounges. They have real smooth music. Sometimes they have jazz night, and it just puts you in a whole nother element. You start feeling dainty. It's like really good music, and it reaches certain people. When you want to listen to hip hop and you go to it's a up tempo thing. So it gets you energized. Going in a different way. So we have a variety of genres of music. With different tempos and it's meant to reach you and set you in that particular mood. Just like Bob Marley, everybody, every culture, Chinese people, everybody loves Bob Marley. Bob Marley is the man, was the man, and he still lives on through us. And his music have messages in them, but all things must come to an end. So, it is what it is, and we still keep music alive. Music is what Harriet Tubman and them used, the Underground Railroad, ways of communicating,
Music is life.
Music is life.
Sounds, man. There is no way the world can go on without sounds. Just imagine, just for a moment, that there was no sound. You could hear nothing at all. Everything just silent. What it would be like?
Terrible.
It would be terrible, man. So you say sounds is what hold up creations. Sounds is what we live by. Sounds build. Sounds break down. Sounds can do a lot of things. So we will always live and grown with sounds. As long as we live, it can never change. Music is life, and it's a thing that gives you a great spiritual feeling, can change your whole life when you're in certain mood. Just force yourself, turn on your stereo, get something, listen to, and you change. You know, it slows you down, it gives you a vibes, a good meditation. You can kick back on all the vibes and look into certain things and make different decisions in your mind and come up with a better plan. Music is life, man. Sounds live forever. Now, at this moment, we are going on a short commercial break. We'll be right back. Yes, welcome back to the show, Thunder Record Show with I Was Select and Prudence Torres. And our next segment about the songs that Prudence wrote, it's called Dreaming Colors. Have you ever dreamed in color before? Prudence, tell us about it.
Yeah, Dreaming in Colors is another of it is actually a reggae rhythm. And when I heard this, I had two ideas for this particular rhythm, but I decided to go with Dreaming in Colors. And colors are so beautiful. Black and white are very simple. Purple, green, look at the colors with the flag, the Jamaican flag, the red, white, and blue. You know, so sometimes, like even in movies, when they display certain moods, like Christmas time, Christmas is very colorful. Colors bring up your spirit, you know, it makes you happy, it makes you feel a certain mood. When you wake up in the morning, you put on certain clothes. I'm not in the mood for that, you know, I put on this color. In the summertime, you put on really bright colors, you know, so this song is when I dream in colors, because the world as we know it is a sad place sometimes. You know, like I told you guys, I can't watch the news. I watch it sometimes, you know, but I can't watch it. And so this song is when I dream in colors. I create, you know, so when you dream in real life, consciously dreaming, it's no different from sleeping. To me, it isn't. Because when we dream, we fly. And I could fly, I be doing flips, I could jump off buildings, I could do a lot in my dream, you know? So I could be a purple woman walking around, you know? I could remember, you know, I could do things. And so that's what that song is. That song is to help people to see that they are very powerful, you know, and when you dream in colors, you can pretty much do whatever you want. You know, you can do whatever you want. And my dreams are in color, meaning that they're bright and they're positive. You know, I send out a lot of positivity out to people, because positivity, energy, if you look at the chakras, they have them categorized in colors, you know, and to me, helping people is a colorful thing. You know, why do people dress in black and white for funerals? You know, why? You know, why is it navy blue for politicians? A lot of politicians, a lot of people that go to corporate jobs, they wear navy blue. It's a powerful color. So colors are meant to be a moody type of thing. So when I dream in colors, and I dream about senior citizens being taken care of, because one day, hopefully, you'll become a senior citizen. You know, you'll live a healthy, elderly life, and you want people to treat you good. But the senior citizens, once you retire, you consider the senior citizen, you know, and your insurance goes up, you know, everything, you know, all these years we put money in when we're young, put money into Social Security. We put money into the Medicaid and Medicare. You know, they're taking that from us, you know, and then when it's our turn, when we become old, we have to pay more money, you know. So what I dream is for senior citizens to not have to pay for those heavily expensive bills that they incur when they're old, you know, because it's a blessing to grow old, you know. Some people just reach there and they're ill from the foods and things that we eat. But that particular song is I Dream in Colors.
Dream in Colors, you're dreaming about a lot of things.
Yes.
We are coming to the end of our segment now, and it's very nice for you guys to be here today, and our audience who are not here with us, but they are here and watching us. We want to thank you all for your support. Tender Record with Ivor Senate and Prudence. And I also want to shout out to our technical engineer over there, Mr. Thompson. And also our graphic, Adrian Nation in Jamaica.
Nation! Big up Nation!
And our band member, Garfield McPherson, and the rest of the member.
Multiple choice.
Multiple choice.
Energy band.
Energy band.
Yes. And our family and friends, you know, all of our supporters out there, you, the audience, we appreciate you taking your time out to watch us. And again, in your living rooms, in your cars, wherever you are, we really appreciate you sharing time with us, spending time with us. And if you're ever in the Maryland state, you know, give us a shout. We have our information on the lower part of the screen. And also, we do still invite you, talented people, to come and share our stage. Let us see your talent. Let us hear you sing. Let us hear you spit your lyrics. Let us hear you give up that poetry. Let's hear you create that song. Yes.
At Thunder Records, we are happy to be here with you guys here today. And I hope you do enjoy and have a great enjoy the rest of the day. Prudence.
Take care. Thank you.
Right.